How long should you expect an injection mold to last? It depends entirely on what you actually bought. Tool steel molds, the kind we build at Zen Molds, routinely last 1 to 5 million shots, often longer. That hardened steel structure also makes the mold easier to modify later. Because hardened steel is cut with EDM, the cutting process literally doesn't touch the material. There's no contact and no stress on the steel. You can keep refining the mold without weakening it. Mild steel is more common in the market, typically lasting 100,000 to 500,000 shots. It wears faster, especially with abrasive materials like glass-filled nylon. Aluminum is primarily used for small inserts which have limited usage. Full aluminum molds rarely make it to 100,000 units. Aluminum used to make sense as a mold-making material when molds were cut by hand, because softer was faster. Now that cutting is automated with CNC and EDM, that advantage has aged out. Aluminum costs more than steel as raw material, and almost nobody actually runs aluminum injection molds anymore. It still gets quoted, but it's rarely the right answer for injection. Insert molds, pocket molds, and mud systems typically last 2,000 to 5,000 shots. One manufacturer who builds them told me he's never personally hit 500 parts. These are the bids people most often see first, and they look cheap. But once you push past about 500 units, you're losing money on every part you make. They have a purpose, but it's narrow, and it's not real production. 3D printed molds benefit from the name. Technically, they're molds, and you do inject material into them. But they're not injection molds, they're casting molds. I use them sometimes for prototypes. They typically last about 20 parts, made slowly by hand. If anyone is selling you a 3D printed mold for real production, walk away. A 3D printed mold would vaporize immediately under the pressure and heat of an injection molding machine. It's not a real option. What kills a mold? Abrasive plastics like glass-filled materials, poor maintenance, and being run on the wrong machine. That's also why our warranty applies while the mold is in our care. Once it leaves, the conditions are outside what we can control. Our goal is to help you make the right choice on your injection molding project.